Steve Bowers welcoming you to Dialogue in a very special edition. Willie X Evans is with us for another segment of Nashville and Parts Unknown. Willie, good to see you, friend.
Hey, Steve. Hey, August. Hey, Millie. Hey, Max.
Get all the grandkids in, get them recognized and all the other good stuff. Got a special show today.
We do. We got a gentleman that has just an amazing story about how he got started in songwriting. He wrote Whiskey on Ice, among many others, but he's got the, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, he played the Alamo. He played the Church. He's one of the only guys that's ever done that.
Okay. Fascinating stuff. We're talking about the one and only Bobby Keel. Bobby, how are you this day?
Fantastic.
Man, it's good to have you. Good to have you with us. You two guys met. Have y'all worked together?
Oh, yeah, we played some shows.
And Bobby, we appreciate that. You know Willie, and you're still willing to come on this show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, it is good to see you both. How did y'all meet, Willie?
Songwriting, playing.
Okay, just
playing
playing.
music stuff.
Okay. Bobby, you are from where originally?
Dover, Tennessee.
So, all right, so not too far up the road here.
No.
No.
Home of
Okay.
Fort Donaldson and land between the lakes. And
Yeah. Beautiful area of Tennessee. So you got into music how?
I started playing piano when I was 3. My sister was taking lessons, and I would climb up on the piano bench and play out the melodies. And I just picked it up from there and started taking piano lessons when I was in first grade, second grade.
Okay.
And I learned enough not to read enough not to mess up my playing. But then when I turned 12, I started playing guitar and just started natural events, from playing melodies on piano. I just wanted to play melodies on guitar, and I just started developing melodies, and then words just seemed to come. And so when I was 17, I loaded up my 2 songs and 5 bags of crappie and went to Nashville and a frozen mallard duck.
Okay, well, so that would have been what year? I mean, when you were 17?
69.
69, late 60s.
Well, actually, summer of 70.
Okay.
Because I turned 18 in October and I was 17.
What made you think when you got to Nashville that you could get anything done?
I didn't know I couldn't.
Okay.
I was 17 years old, and I knocked on the first door I knocked on was the Wilburn Brothers Publishing Company, Teddy and Doyle Wilburn.
Okay.
And the lady was just real nice. She explained to me that I told her I had written some songs and I'd like for somebody to listen to them. And she told me they were a closed publishing company, that they didn't listen to songs except for their songwriters that they had signed.
All right.
So I was getting ready to walk out the door, and she said, well, do you have anything else? She was talking songs. I said, well, I got some fresh filleted crappie out in my ice chest. And then this voice out in the back room hollered and told me to come in there. And he wound up with a bag of crappie, and I wound up with directions to go get my songs heard across the street. So I went over there, and he told him he would call ahead. So I get over there.
Who was that, Bobby? Who was that took the fish, that invited you back?
Oh, it was Lester Wilburn.
Okay.
Teddy and Doyle Wilburn's brother, yeah.
Brother. Okay. So did he run the publishing company at that time?
He did.
Okay.
He did. Yeah.
So he heard you mention something about crappie, so he said, let him come in here. Okay.
Here he is. So that kind of got me in the door, and I guess I went over to Moss Rose, which was across the street, Moss Rose Publishing Company, and walked in, and the girl said, are you the kid with the fish? And she was real pretty, and I said, yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay.
So it just kind of snowballed from there. And
So did they took the fish, obviously, but did they listen to your songs? I guess they did.
oh, yeah, they listened to the songs and took my fish, but nobody wanted the frozen mallard duck, so he didn't make it.
Well, what did they say then when they heard your 2 songs?
Well, the guy who was the song plugger listened to him. His name was Shotgun Ellis, perfect name. And just so happened his uncle was the Board of Education director in Stewart County in Dover, where I lived. And
Okay.
we had that familial
So
tie. And
Okay.
so then they signed me to a $50 a week contract. That's pretty good money then.
Tell you what, all right, so you walk into Nashville knowing no one at all, knock on the door at the Wilburn Brothers,
Yep.
got some fish, and wind up with a $50 a week deal that some people have been walking the streets for years up there would die to get.
I know it. They should have had some crappie. I think one of the writers in my contract that I was supposed to bring fish every time I came to town, you know.
So, Bobby, you get in the door, you're getting $50 a week. So what do you do next then?
I just write my butt off. I just go to writing everything I can think of.
Were you writing alone? Did you start working with people or?
I was writing by myself at the beginning, but then I started co-writing with other folks. And I was very fortunate to get to hang with some of the greatest writers in the world when I was starting out. Christopherson and Mickey Newberry, Dallas Frazier, Whitey Schaefer, Don Wayne, Doodle Owens, those guys. And I learned so much from those guys.
So of course, I guess if you got a deal, you got a deal. So it gives you some street cred, I guess, right?
Yeah, a little bit, you know.
I mean, so you start hanging around with these guys.
Yeah.
How long is it before something is cut, or did that come months later, weeks later, years later?
Well, within a few months, I got a couple of things cut on Minor Artist, and then it was pretty cold for a year or two. Just I'd get something here and there, but then in the late '70s, I really started, getting a lot of cuts and having a lot of success as a writer, and that worked out really, come at a good time. Okay. I was writing for Hank Jr. and David Allan Coe and Tammy Wynette and a bunch of folks like that were recording my songs by then.
How long were you with the Wilburn Brothers?
Oh, I never did write for them.
Okay, so just across the street?
I just knocked on their door and across the street.
So that publishing company, you stayed with them how long?
Well, for about 6 months, and then Hubert Long, the owner of the company, died, and he sold the family sold my catalog to Mary John Wilkin. She owned Buckhorn Publishing.
Right.
Mary John wrote Think to Bismarck, To the Bottom of the Sea, One Day at a Time, and with Chris. And she discovered Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
And she told me, you just like Chris, you're either going to wind up making something of yourself or you're going to wind up in jail.
I mean, she was a real player in this.
Oh, absolutely.
So having that catalog picked up by her then was not a bad move.
It was a wonderful thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you survived for nearly a decade up there. And so were you playing on the road, doing studio work or anything, or just writing?
I was playing, running all over the country, looking for ideas and playing gigs and just stuff like that. Being Bobby, running wild.
Bobby Keel. Bobby, then the breakthrough moment as far as a songwriter came when? What was
Probably when Hank Jr. cut Whiskey on Ice and Time Off for Bad Behavior. No, we didn't cut the Whiskey on Ice. I've Been Down and Woman on the Run. And they all went gold immediately. And that really gave me some notability or notoriety maybe. Okay.
And so Hank Williams Jr. becomes the breakthrough thing.
It was, yeah.
When you move to that different level. Bobby Keel is with us. Maybe we can hear some of that Whiskey on Ice when we come back. We're going to take this break. We're going to continue this dialogue. Stay with us right here at E+ TV6.
Got it, brother.
What this place needs is better graduation rates.
What this place needs is less childhood obesity.
What this place needs is free help with taxes.
What this place needs is healthy breakfast.
What this place needs is fitness programs for kids.
What this place needs is early readers.
What this place needs is mentors for teens.
What this place needs is people to join us. What this place needs is you. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org.
This morning, I was tasting Jim Beam. I was holding the answer to some old boy's dream. Had a bad reputation, reckon I'm alive. Wild, like my whiskey on ice and my women on fire. From Memphis to Mobile, I have played all the dives. Lord knows I'm lucky just to still be alive. I'm an all-around rebel. I will not be denied of my whiskey on life and my women on fire. Yeah, I like my whiskey on life and my women on fire. A good sounding guitar, and I won't be called a liar. I spent many long nights with a burning desire. My whiskey on ice and my women on fire. You know, folks talk about me, reckon they always will. They think I've had an easy ride, they say I've had it downhill. What they don't think about, what they don't realize is the shoes that I am filling are a mighty big tide. One night in Nashville, tried to take my own life. My best friends done let me roll, and so had my wife. But a fast ride to Florida made me realize had some whiskey on ice and some Florida honey's on fire. Hey, I like my whiskey on ice and my women on fire. A good sounding guitar, and I won't be called a liar. I spent many long nights with a burning desire for my whiskey on ice and my women on fire. Hey, I like my whiskey on ice and my women on fire. A good sounding guitar, and I won't be called a liar. Well, I may grow old, but I will never grow tired of my whiskey on ice and my women. I like my women on fire. I like my whiskey on ice, my women on fire.
Bobby, did you write that song with Hank in mind or just write it?
I started it with a song that was going to be called Warm Women and Cold Beer. And I pulled up to the gas station. It was in the fall, and they hung a big banner out there, and it said, "Get fire and ice protection for your car." So I went from Warm Women and Cold Beer to Whiskey on Ice and Women on Fire.
Okay.
And so I got with my friend Tony Stampley, and we scribbled on it a little bit, and then we took it to Hank, and then Hank liked it, and he actually got a part of the writing too. He wrote the part about taking my own life and everything.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I'm not into suicide, and I don't think anybody should be. It's against the law.
Okay.
And so anyway, I just, we just got together and wrote it, and Hank cut it.
So had you been working with him prior? You knew him already.
We'd met, but we really, when we started doing these songs, we got to know each other.
Okay. Then from there, where did it go as far as your writing?
Oh, I was writing for people like Tammy Wynette and Johnny Rodriguez at the time, and Mo Bandy and Joe Stampley.
Wow.
So just a bunch of other artists were recording my songs, and it just kept rolling. Then David Allan Coe actually recorded the song "Time Off for Bad Behavior" that I wrote.
All right.
And he had a chart record on it in '86, and then Confederate Railroad did it in '91. And I think it sold about 3 million copies, the project did.
Okay.
I was glad to be riding on that one.
Yeah, so it continues to. The business side of the business, I mean, the writing is the creative part, and then making the connection with people to record it, getting it recorded, and all that. I mean, there are all these other dimensions out there. How did that work for you?
Well, I couldn't manage a fly in a paper sack when it comes to me.
But it sounded like you're pitching a lot of your own stuff through your own connection.
I have, yeah. I don't pitch that much anymore. I write all the time, but there's too many golf courses between the house and Music Row.
Well, it's good to be able to play. You still want to, right?
I played yesterday.
The thing that I find in talking to people, Bobby, is that, just like your story about the fish, I mean, it's like, yeah, how do you make it Nashville? Well, everybody makes it a different way.
It was pretty easy. I didn't have to sell everything I owned, which I didn't own that much, to run away to Nashville. It's 77 miles from the driveway to Music Row.
Okay. So you could always get back home if you had to.
I could always eat a biscuit every morning.
The ideas for the material, and I find it interesting that you see the sign, the fire and ice, and go, okay, that flips that song, and it makes that song, I guess, in that sense, right? Yeah.
Well, time off for bad behavior, is a play on, you go to court and they give him time off for good behavior, he's being a model citizen.
Right.
So I just took it the other direction, need a little time off for bad behavior. He's saying all the things he needs to do, not necessarily break the law, but, up and going at the day of dawn, working like a regular dog to keep the woman in the water and the lights and the phone turned on. He said, been saying yes, sir, all day at work, been saying yes, ma'am, at home, been storing up the cuss words, keeping them under my tongue. I need a little time off for bad behavior. The rebel in me's done been asleep too long.
Bad stuff. I take it that then the lyric comes first for you, or?
It doesn't really. I get an idea. But usually if I get a melody, the lyrics will find their way immediately, it seems like.
Is that right? Okay.
Or if it's a lyric,
the melody finds its way.
Melody finds its way, yeah.
Wow.
I just become a conduit, I write a song, I'm surprised that I wrote it, It's like suddenly it's there on paper. And I write a lot of songs. I never even play the guitar or piano, either one. But until I finish the song, a lot of times I just play it in my head,
Okay, and then put it together. Wow. Is there a high? Of course, I guess the first time you get something recorded by a major artist, that becomes a high point. And then
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because I want the next segment, we're getting the story about the Alamo, which is a fascinating thing. But
yeah,
that's very are there peak moments for you where you say, "Man, that was perfect," or "That was great," or like,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Last night I played a little place here in Clarksville. I did a little open mic thing, and the sound was as good as I've ever heard myself. The monitor mix and everything was so good.
All right.
It was just like out of the blue. I didn't know what to expect, and I really got blown away. But playing the Alamo absolutely is that's such a near and dear subject to my heart.
So it is still happening, the magic moments in this, and they come unexpectedly, I guess.
Yeah, magical moments are what they are,
Right.
It's just like somebody pulls it out of a hat, I've never figured that out myself, All I find is nothing when I stick my hand down in a hat.
Yeah. Walk into a small place and people say, well, that's not a very notable gig. And you say, turned out to be a magic moment.
Yeah, and the crowd
Magic
was
moment.
great last night. It's usually a bunch of college kids that play there, which I was a college kid one time. But, it's all young writers, and
Right.
I got up there and did my thing, and I wish we could have videoed it.
Wow. Yeah. Magic stuff. Bobby Keel is with us. When we come back, we're going to take a trip to the Alamo as we continue this very special dialogue here at E+ TV6. So stay right where you are. We'll be right back with more.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Dialogue here at E+ TV6. Willie X Evans rejoining us as we continue this special Nashville and Parts Unknown edition with Bobby Keel. Bob, before we go any further, if people want to follow your music and follow what you're doing right now, how do they do that?
Go to Bobby Keel Music on Facebook, or you can go to bobbykeel@hotmail.com.
Okay.
And if you want to listen to some of it, I've got stuff up on YouTube. Just log in Bobby Keel, songwriter, and it'll give a list of songs of that I've written. I'm performing some of them. A lot of the artists who's recorded them are performing them, and
Okay.
that's it.
All right, big catalog out there. Bobby, thanks for taking the time. Willie, one of the reasons we wanted to set this up is that Bobby's got a unique part of his life going to the Alamo.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just amazing that he got to go down there and play in the church, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think they let anybody else done before.
You know, we talked about Alamo last time. You know, when you go to San Antonio, it's a hard thing to find because they built up all around it. We said, you know, we told the mayor in Crockett County and Alamo, they need to build an Alamo in Crockett County, Tennessee, right off the interstate. Nobody would know that wasn't the real one.
Absolutely.
be the Alamo you could see. I guess, Willie, you know, one of the things every songwriter, and you've been doing this a long time, you have those special moments and stuff and opportunities, but they come along in unexpected ways.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm telling you, Bobby's story is amazing, isn't it? I mean, that's just a fluke. The way it goes, the way it happens, that you go down there with some crappie and you wind up getting a song.
If we'd known that easy, we'd been fishing a long time ago, right?
I'd have been catching them crappie.
I think, Bobby, if the story's right, you had far more fish than you had song.
Did.
And you know, and so that becomes the entree. Well, Bobby, tell us how you wound up going to the Alamo.
You know, I have a friend, K.R. Wood. He's a Texas artist and noted Texas historian. And we've been friends for 40 years. Well, in 2006, he said, "Hey, Bobby." I said, "What's up?" He said, "Man," he said, "I think I can get us a project and we can record it inside the church at the Alamo." And so he told me a little bit about what was going on. And I said, "Well, if you can get that part done, I can write you a sack full of songs about it." And I wrote a sack full of songs about the Alamo.
Bobby, back up for a moment. On what was he working to open that opportunity? I mean, how did that ever come up?
Well, my friend K.R. Wood, he is a Texas historian. He's a musician.
Right.
So he got with the DRT, the Daughters of the Republic of Texas, and they gave him permission to record a live album inside the Alamo.
And then he thought of you. He thought of you for what reason? Out of all the people that he would know, right?
Because of my writing and my love.
Okay, just that style, and said you can do it. All right, so you start writing. So you got a sack full of songs, and you go to the album. So what happens when you get there? Is this acoustic setup, full band setup? What is this?
We recorded everything to the period of 1836. All the instruments that we used on the project were available in 1836. Crockett played the fiddle. We actually got to use Crockett's fiddle from the Whitty Museum on the session. And after the third song, our fiddle player begged us to let him play his own fiddle. He said that he liked his fiddle a lot better. But anyway, we did record the Crockett fiddle, and we cut 15 or 16 songs. The CD's available. Davy Crockett's fiddle plays on.
Okay.
It's online. You can just log in and just put in Davy Crockett's fiddle plays on live in the Alamo.
Okay.
But it was pretty cool. Crockett played fiddle, and there was a fellow, John McGregor from Scotland. He played the bagpipes. So we got a bagpipe player playing on the session, and but there's no electric guitars or electric anything on the that we recorded in the Alamo. And it was a wonderful experience. Now, that's definitely a high point.
Okay.
That's a high point in my career, being a part of that project with those wonderful people from Texas. And just, I mean, you know, that's a one-off thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's something Ozzy Osbourne will never get to do.
Once again, the name of the album is Davy Crockett Plays On. Is that right?
Davy Crockett's fiddle plays on.
Plays on. Davy Crockett's fiddle plays
Playson, live in the Alamo.
Live in the Alamo. Wow. Had to be a special. So you wrote when you got there, did you write more material, or the material you have?
We wrote a couple of things after I got there, but I spent about 3 months at least writing songs for the project.
Wow. Okay.
And, you know, you really have to delve into the history. If you're going to write a song about a historical event, you better make sure everything is correct.
That's right. Yeah. Or somebody will let you know.
Because if you don't, they will eat you alive.
I start saying that there's an historian out there worse than a church sister. You know, they'll let you know exactly what's wrong. Yeah.
Well, the people at the Alamo, they are very dear and near to their historical facts.
Yeah,
And they will call people out in books and everything.
Bobby, really appreciate this opportunity to visit with you. And John, appreciate you setting all this up. And it's been a real pleasure. We're going to clear the way because we got a song coming up from that special album from the Alamo with Bobby Keel. Thanks for being with us. Stay with us here at E Plus TV6 because this is the place where the dialogue continues. And thanks, Willie.
I left my home for Texas in the fall of 35. Guess my eyes were too wide open on those days I first arrived. For here I am in San Antonio with my rifle in my hand, knowing death awaits across the line drawn in the sand. Cottonwoods are swaying ever gently in the wind. I'm praying I can hold you and our baby girl again. Soon it'll be spring planting time back in Tennessee, and I can barely bear the thought of you not so in love with me. I hope the future serves my memory well, and I will leave a legacy for all the world to tell. I will not have died in vain if it is my time to go, fighting gallantly for freedom within the walls of the Alamo. Race against the barrack walls in the warm glow of our moon, I can hear Dick radio playing. It's the death march for the doomed. The hallowed grounds of the Alamo will soon run crimson red. Let my body burn to ashes, my soul will forge ahead. I hope the future serves my memory well. I will leave a legacy for all the world to tell. I will not have died in vain if it is my time to go, fighting gallantly for freedom within the walls of the Alamo. Dying gallantly for Texas within the walls of the Alamo.